wants to do some summer decorating on a budget? If you're new here, I am Sarah. Welcome to Grace in My Space. Today I want to talk about styling our homes for the summer, but on a budget and with some thrifted finds, adding a few pops of color, just doing some really fun and basic things that are going to improve the look of our homes. First off, we're doing landscaping. I have been working on updating my home's landscaping all spring, and I have an entire video showcasing how I did that for almost free. Basically free. One of those tips is to make sure and divide any new annuals that you have and really spread them into a few pots. This is going to stretch $1 a lot farther than if you, for instance, take one Boston fern and put it in one pot. Instead, cut that baby in half and you instantly have 2 planters that are extremely lush and full. I have my son helping me with some of these projects this year, and I am really grateful to have the help. Tip number 2 is to mix some faux plants, especially for your outdoor, in with your real plants. We did have a little nest built in my wreath, so we're having to be really careful with this door. But one way that I do love to save money is to reuse the same wreath every year, but also reuse the same faux florals every year out in my pots. I have some really basic topiaries and some flowers that are artificial that really pack a punch, and I only bought once and I use year after year after year. Another tip that is so basic but I feel like a lot of people kind of overlook is just the art of tidying, cleaning spaces up, blowing off debris, straightening chairs. That can go a really long way for just making the space look finished and put together. There's not much that's weirder than when a delivery person drives up and you're filming yourself going off your front porch. What did I get? Oh! This is for an upcoming video. Now, one thing that I've been really excited to tackle this summer is a really affordable option for making the landscaping look nicer with hoses. And so I'm gonna tackle that. But first, today's video is sponsored by TP-Link, and we're installing the Tapo Vista Cam 360. We have had a lack of visibility on the front of our house since we moved here. Now, one of the main barriers that we've had is that we had no plug, and this is a solar-powered 4K security camera, and so you can basically mount it anywhere. It has crystal clear surveillance, 18 times digital zoom, and it only requires 45 minutes of direct sunlight daily to power it for a full day of use. It has 2-way audio, so you can talk and listen, which I love because if my kids are home and I am not, then I can pop on the security camera and chat with them. It has 360-degree horizontal coverage and 90-degree vertical coverage, and it auto pans on patrol mode, which is really fantastic. Now, you can record your own videos and snap your own pictures if you need to, but it also has smart playback, so you can find and download moments that you might need to capture long term. It also offers an alarm mode, a privacy mode, you can do a light, and it has Starlight Color night vision so that your evening and nighttime colors are brighter and more full color images. You can store your footage on a micro SD card with no subscription required, or you can opt for cloud storage through the Tapo app. I have been seriously impressed by the video quality and the ease of setup. If you're interested, hit the link in the description to get started checking out your own Tapo 4K camera. Now, for this hose reel, I created it for only $26 just using a 4x4 post that I sunk into some concrete and then adding a really simple cap to the top to dress it up a little bit. I added about $10 worth of value to it with a cute little hanging hook for a potted plant that makes it really pretty and a little bit of an accent. I hung the hose reel higher because I know that all these brand new plants are going to grow up and they're going to be taller, and I didn't want it to crush as it swung back and forth. And the porch came together very easily for only about $40 total, including all the plants, the posts, and the hook. That's one of the biggest reasons that I love using the faux plants year after year after year, because it's only a one-time investment and then it will pay for itself over time. Now, I want to show you some thrifted finds that I got when Aaron and I went on our anniversary trip to Hocking Hills, Ohio. This was breathtaking and gorgeous, and I was really surprised that it was only a 6-hour drive from me, and we really enjoyed it. So I thought I'd just show you a few quick snippets of our trip before I head into what I found antiquing and thrifting. If you're in this area, it's definitely worth a drive. The hikes were gorgeous. There were a few antique stores that were pretty close to where we stayed when we were on our trip, and I just have been loving all of the blue flowware. These blue herb jars were absolutely adorable, and I highly regret not getting them. All right, now let me show you some of the pieces I got. Hang on, I have to look this up because I say it wrong every single time. And if there's one thing I know about the internet, it's that people really love to correct your grammar. Here we go. Ready?
Chinoiserie.
Did you hear it?
Chinoiserie.
Chinoiserie. Chinoiserie. Chinoiserie. Chinoiserie? That does not sound like it's correct. Isn't this a little cutie? It's the cutest little chinoiserie bud vase ever. And I got it for $8, which I didn't think was bad. It's super cute and it's just real petite and pretty. I also got this beautiful chinoiserie vase. This one is not vintage, whereas the other one was, but it looks vintage and it's actually the perfect size for floral bouquets straight from your garden. Aren't the peonies pretty? Okay, that's another one that I'm gonna get a comment on. Peonies? Peonies. Peonies? I don't care how you say it or where you're from, they're gorgeous. Now this one is vintage, this one is not. I will link this one up for you in the description because it was a great price. It's a great, perfect size, and I love the detail. It also came in other shapes, sizes, and colors, and patterns, so it's a really pretty piece. This frame, I just snagged from Hobby Lobby. It's an as-is frame. It was $25 to start. I got it for $5.74 because there's no glass. And it's also, it feels like a craft frame, like you're supposed to finish it yourself. It's a really weird texture. I can't really describe it. It's like gritty. So I'm gonna paint this and I'll show you what I do with this. And then I snagged this frame from a thrift store for $3.99. It has a really nice inner mat that's fabric, and then it has like the extra wood details. It's a little scratched, but I think I can cover that with some cover marker, and obviously there's no glass on this one either, but that's okay. But who needs the glass? It just reflects things anyways. I also snagged this little cutie from an antique store. It was $4. I can't remember if I showed this to you or not already, but it's really cute. I don't usually like a lot of faux greenery in my house. I'll do faux florals all day long, but the greenery I like to do real plants for. This one's currently turned around so the sun hits the back of it, so that's why it looks weird. It needs to grow on both sides. But this one I just thought was really sweet and simple, so it goes up on my mantle. Now, one completely free thing that I like to do is to chop my herbs and dry them as a display. So a lot of people will obviously preserve their herbs from an herb garden, but I like to actually use them to decorate with. So when my chives are in full bloom, I'll chop all those blossoms off, gather them into little bundles, tie them with some kitchen string, and then hang them to dry right in my kitchen. A lot of people will recommend drying them in the dark, but I've always dried them right next to a window and never had a problem. So I really love the way that they add a little bit of hominess, a little bit of charm. I actually just use the gallery rail right on my open shelving in the kitchen as a drying rack. And I did that with my chives, my oregano, my parsley, and a little tiny bit of thyme that I was able to harvest already this summer. The parsley, though, is out of control. Now let's take a look at some of my finds that I showed you earlier. This frame, like I said, I got for $5. It doesn't have the glass, that's okay. I'm just gonna rub and buff the frame since it felt really unfinished and I didn't super love the brown color anyways. I used antique gold rub and buff. It's a really nice subtle gold, not too brassy, and it goes really well with authentic antique frames. And then I'm just using some prints that I got off of Amazon and putting a cut up piece of cardboard as a backer so that they lay flat since they don't have glass on these frames. It actually works really well. For this frame, I used some markers to touch up the scratches and the dents that were in the wood. And this kit actually comes with a lot of different colors so that you can match the wood pretty carefully. The crayons do better on the floor, but for this, I actually thought that the marker worked really well because it had a little bit of a gloss on the frame. This is such an easy and affordable way to change out your artwork. This print set comes with multiple prints for an extremely affordable cost, much less than you would be able to actually print digital prints at the store. And it comes on nice poster paper. They have kind of a matte finish, so they look a little bit more authentic. And they're so affordable that I don't have a problem cutting them up. A lot of times when I order prints, I'm like, I invested a lot of money in this. I don't really want to mess it up. But for these, they're so affordable that I have no problem cutting them to size to fit frames, which actually makes them feel a lot more unique and authentic than always having square or rectangle frames. I decided to kind of redo this little gallery that I had in my living room with these thrifted frames and some of my daughter's artwork, and I really like how it came together. It's just a little bit eclectic, and the fox thrown in there is a really fun and whimsical addition. Now I took that other print and I put it in my dining room coffee station, which I built. I have a whole video showing you how I did this built-in coffee bar. I really love this project. It's probably one of my favorite DIYs I've ever done, and it's kind of fun just to swap out little pieces here and there for the decor in this space. Now in Michigan, we spend our summers outside. The summer is the only reason we live here, okay? I know that's not the case for a lot of the hotter climates where you can't bear to be outside in the summertime, but for me, this is the glory of our state. And so I don't do a ton of indoor decorating for summertime. What I do is very simple swaps like pillow covers. Look at how pretty this one is. I love it. It's like a perfect combination of modern and cottage. It's got the modern stripes, it's got the cottage block print floral. It's so cute. It comes in a bunch of colors. This one is brown. I also ordered the taupe in the blue. Really liked the taupe. The blue was not the same tone I was hoping for, so I sent that one back. But pillow covers, easiest swap for summer. Now, a lot of times I feel kind of silly, to be honest, to suggest a pillow swap or a blanket swap for the seasons because it's such a no-brainer and everybody pretty much already thinks to do it, but it always amazes me how much it does change the space just to pop in one new piece or one new blanket, especially with brighter colors for the summer or something that really complements the colors that you already have in the room. It goes a long way. Now, I always find summer a really great time to do those really small, easy projects that have kind of been on your list. This frame was the wrong color tone for all of the other woods in my living room, so I decided to change it. Now, I actually got this painting last year at a yard sale down the road from me for $5. I met the lovely lady who painted it. She was a gem. And I think it's gonna do it a lot more justice to get it in this deep frame rather than the light color, because it's really gonna make the art pop in addition to fit in better with all the other frames and the wood tones I had around it. This was such an easy 5-minute fix, and I wish that I would have done it months ago, but I love the way that it turned out. A $0 update is my favorite. Now in my entryway, I kind of wanted to actually do something in this space. I feel like I've tried to do things in this space multiple times and it just really always falls flat, and I don't have a great long-term plan for what I want this space to look like, and so I was gonna try and swap in a few things, and I was holding up this mirror and my son said, Mom, that's too small. And he was right, it's way too small. So I took it down, I put back up the old one, and I decided to just wait for this space because everything that I was trying just felt wrong. And I think that that kind of should go a long way in reminding us that if you don't have a good plan, halfway is really gonna bother you. So this space, if I would have continued on the path that I was going, would have been very halfway. And so I decided to swap into a different room, and I actually really like how this one came out. I'm using the same materials I was planning to use in the entryway, and I swapped it to the mud room with this really cute accordion rack. It's not vintage, but it looks vintage. I'll link it up for you in the description if you're interested because it's really affordable and it's really practical. We used it in our last house as a baseball cap hook, and it worked great for all of my husband and son's baseball caps. But in this house, I decided to claim it as my own for my sun hat and just a little bit something pretty in an otherwise very utilitarian and undecorated space in the mudroom. It always amazes me how much you can change a space by swapping in one very small item. One picture frame, one vase, one pillow, one blanket, cleaning things up. All of these things go such a long way in creating an affordable update for the summer. Down in the basement, I just want to do a couple of really quick swaps for the shelving. It's already kind of summery, but all I actually did to it was remove the spring flowers that I had there before. So I did get this beautiful piece from Joyfully Said. It's wood, and it's got this really beautiful, serene, really peaceful painting. It's Jesus with a lamb, and he's up by water, which is basically the top 3 most peaceful things you could have in one photo or painting. And so I thought that I would pop this one up for summertime because it's a little bit more subdued than this one, which I also really like this one. It's got a lot of really nice texture on it. It's not an original, but it's super cute. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby, but it's been a while. Easy, easy. Except then I stepped back and I'm like, no, that's not it. Then I proceeded to try this artwork many different ways, but you know what? It just did not work in this space. So I decided to move it over to the other side of the room and start from scratch. Take 2. I only put fake plants in my basement because I don't come down here nearly as much as upstairs, and so they never get watered and they will all die. So even though I prefer real plants in my house, in the basement, there's a different level of commitment. This is definitely one of those spaces in my home that I am very rarely satisfied with. I would love to do more to this space. I want to paint this honey oak backing in the cabinet. I want to repaint the cabinet to a different color. I want to change the color of the brick in the mantle. And I think that only after I do some of those more broad scale projects am I gonna feel like this part of the house is satisfying to me. But in the meantime, it can go a long way just to change up a little bit of a gallery wall, add in some shelf decor, and call it good for now. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed seeing some of these ideas come together. I don't do a lot of summer specific decorating, and I kind of feel like most people don't necessarily do a ton of switching up for this particular season because we're so focused on outdoor gardens, enjoying the weather, if you're in an environment that's enjoyable and not sweltering heat. And so I think that just some really simple changes can go a long way, as well as being really affordable and budget friendly, especially if you hit up those thrift stores. Again, a huge thanks to TP Link for sponsoring today's video. Make sure and check out all of the Tapo camera details down in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.